from snowy North Carolina. I know that probably doesn't make sense, but we are getting snow right now, and we have probably 5 inches that have fallen so far. This is what it's looking like outside, and I mean, it is beautiful, but I can't believe we're getting this much snow. And what's crazy is we just had those ice storms last weekend where we got, I don't know how much ice we actually ended up getting, but thankfully we didn't lose power. I know some states, like I think Tennessee and like Nashville area was pretty bad, but thankfully we have not lost power. But it is kind of crazy that we're getting this much snow because we got probably like an inch maybe of snow last week when we got the ice. Everything was closed for a week, like the schools and stuff. And now we're supposed to get, I think, 5 to 8 inches today. We've already gotten 5 and it's, I think, 1 o'clock. But since it's just kind of a cozy day in, I thought I would just kind of vlog and share what I'm doing today. I don't know if you can see, but my cats are sleeping right here. But I have to put away some laundry, so I thought we could kind of chit chat while I put away my laundry and maybe catch up a little bit. And my laundry's all sitting right here, so I'm gonna put it on my bed and do that. Chance made the bed this morning. It's not that he didn't do a good job, but it's not how I would have done it. I'm glad he made it because he got up last. But I am going to move some things as I do my laundry. There is nothing I hate more than doing laundry. Quite literally hate folding laundry, but it has to get done. And I also love to yap, so I'm like, I might as well just yap while I fold some laundry. And while I fold some laundry, I thought I would talk about the books that I've read in January, because today is January 31st. You'll probably see this within the next couple days. I don't know if I'll be able to get this up tomorrow. We will see. But I'm going to talk about the books I read in January. So I read 5 books in January. If you aren't interested in hearing me talk about books, go ahead and skip forward a little bit, but I'm going to sit here and talk about some books. Okay, I had to pull up my Goodreads so I remember all that I read. Okay, so the first one I read, I think, was The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. I've actually wanted to read this for a while, and I finally was able to get it on Libby, and I'm excited because I think the movie is coming out this year, and I'm really excited about that. And I think I gave it 4 stars. Yeah, so I gave it 4 stars. I really actually did like this book a lot. I think I like Love Theoretically better from her. That one is so cute, and this one was really cute too, but I do like Love Theoretically a little bit better. But I mean, I will say this book kept me hooked. Like, I wanted to find out what happened. It was the whole kind of enemies to lovers in a way. I don't know if that's how you describe it, but I did think it was super cute, and I loved that it was a little bit different from your normal romance type books. I thought the plot was really cute. I love that her books are always something like STEM related, and I think she does a really good job. I mean, I think she's a great author. I'm so excited to watch that movie whenever it comes out. Oh, a little aside, I did finally watch, I don't think I've shared this yet. I did finally watch People We Meet on Vacation, and I read that book several years ago, so I'm gonna be completely honest, I don't remember the plot enough to know if it was similar to the book, like the movie. I don't remember, but from what I remember, it was pretty similar, or at least somewhat similar, and I loved it. It was so good. Like, that's exactly how you do a rom-com. The casting was incredible, so if you haven't watched it, go and watch that. I loved it. That's actually the only Emily Henry book that I like so far. I've read, I thought I had read 3 of her books, but I went back in my Goodreads and it looks like I've only read that one and then Need to Read, I think. But Jenny told me to read Lovers and Funny Stories. I added those on Libby, and I'm gonna wait until they're available, because one thing about me, I do not buy a book. I will figure out a way to read it for free. Anyway, back to the books that I've read, because I've gone way off tangent. So the next book I read was Say You'll Remember Me. I actually was able to get this on Libby, and it's funny, I almost got this book at my book club for our book exchange, but it was stolen from me, which is fine because I knew that I was like due to get it on Libby. This book I rated a 3 out of 5, I believe, and I love Abby Jimenez. She's actually one of my favorite authors. I just think her books are a quick and easy read. I love the stories. They always draw me in, and I read it very fast, but this definitely like wasn't my favorite of hers. I'm not sure what my favorite of hers is. I think I've read every single one of her books except for like the short stories. I don't know. It's just like, it wasn't my favorite. I mean, again, like I thought it was super cute. Yeah, I don't know. I would definitely recommend it to other people. Like, just because I have it as 3 stars doesn't mean I didn't like it. Usually my ratings go like 3 stars, like is pretty good. I'd recommend it to someone, just like wasn't my favorite book. 4 stars is like, I actually like really did like the book and I would definitely recommend it. 5 stars is like, it's now my favorite book, or like one of my favorite books. So that's kind of how I rate things. Like, sometimes I'll tell someone, I'm like, oh my God, I loved this book so much, like you have to read it. And they'll be like, oh, you only rated it 4 stars on Goodreads. I'm like, no, like it's still like really good. It's just not like my favorite book. Because I used to rate everything 5 stars, even like if I just finished it. and liked it. I would rate it 5 stars, but I've started being a little bit more picky. Anyway, I definitely would recommend it. Cute, easy read. I don't really have much to say about it. It's just the usual like strangers to lovers trope that I love. That's probably my favorite trope. And then next I read Welcome to Murder Week by Karen. I don't know if it's Dukes or Duquess. I'm not sure how you say it, but that book was so cute and I loved it. I will say it took me like a little bit, like it took me a couple hours to read like the first couple chapters because I was just like, wait, what am I reading? I was so confused. But once you get into it, it's really good. It's a murder mystery where it's about this girl whose family member passes away. I'm trying not to give too many spoilers, but someone in her family passes away and she was left with this murder mystery vacation essentially, and she's really confused on why that would be left. So she goes on it and you're like helping solve the fake murder with her, but there's also something else she's trying to learn that has to do with her family while she's there, and it's just really well done. I've never read a book like this before. It makes me want to read other things from this author. I definitely recommend it. I think I rated it, let me see, yeah, I rated it a 4 out of 10. It's definitely not my favorite book. Like I said, it took me a little bit to get into it, but it was definitely really cute, and I think everyone should read it because it is different. It is a little bit of a love story as well, which of course I love. Taking a little break to go get my tripod, and I thought I would show you the pretty snow. I mean, it is just so pretty. The only thing is I would have loved this like during Christmas time, and it's not that I don't love it now, but once Christmas is over, I'm ready for spring and summer, which I've shared before. So I just wish this was during Christmas because I would have loved like a white Christmas or even just snow in December in general, but that's okay. I will take what I can get, especially if it's going to be cold, it might as well snow, you know? Okay, I actually ended up going and getting my tripod, so I'm a little bit closer, but we are in our part 2 of putting my clothes away. I have so many clothes, but it's fun to kind of yap through this. Okay, so the next book that I read was The Wedding People, and this I actually got in the summer on Libby, and I never got around to reading it because I was reading other things, so I let it lapse and waited for it to come back. This got 5 stars for me on Goodreads. Curious, I want to see if like anyone in my book club has read it, which I think one person had marked it that they had because I want to talk to other people about it and see what they thought. But the reviews for it are great, and one of the reviews I saw, which I think I agree with, was Brooke Averick, posted a review and she was just talking about how good it was, and I completely agree. I thought it was an incredible book. It was so well written. I also just like the realness of the book. I mean, the plot is obviously kind of trying to figure out how much to share. I'm just talking about essentially what the book is about. I'm not sharing what happens. If you don't have any sort of idea of what the book's about at all and you want to read it, then skip this, but I think this is even on the description anyway. So the book is about a girl who recently went through something traumatic in her life, and so she books a vacation and she goes to this hotel to essentially herself. Then she meets people and it just kind of talks about what happens from there. And I think the author did such a good job talking about mental health and kind of what it's like to be in that moment of not wanting to be here anymore. And being fully transparent, sorry to get, you know, kind of dark, is I've struggled with mental health in the past, and I've struggled with not wanting to live anymore for similar reasons that this girl was going through, and other reasons as well. I can't say it's been a one-time thing. I'm so much better now. I really am. Thank you to therapy. She just does such a good job of describing it, describing the feeling of, am I making a mistake? It kind of just turns into this story where there's all these things that like don't make sense, things that are happening where it's like, how do I even describe it? Just things that are probably morally incorrect that the author is working through, or not the author, that the main character is working through, and even other characters are working through things that are just like morally do not make sense. And I don't know, I just think it's such a good book, and I love the way it was written, and I highly recommend anyone to read it. And then the next book that I read was The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. So this is not a book that I feel like I maybe would have chose for myself, but my book club did decide to read this, and I'm kind of glad that they did, because like I said, I don't think I would read it on my own. I've heard of the Let Them Theory. I've seen the videos on it. I've always kind of liked the theory. If someone disapproves of what you're doing, let them, within reason, you know, not if you're doing something that's controversial, but you know what I mean. Someone's going to judge me for making these YouTube videos, let them. And I've always liked that mindset, but I was a little bit worried going into this book that it was going to be one of those everyone else is the problem and you just got to ignore everyone else and do whatever you want type books. And some parts felt like that, I'm not gonna lie. I was pleasantly surprised because I don't think all of it was like that. I went into this book not thinking about other people. I went into this book thinking about myself. And I think that helped me a lot. My concern with a book like this is that people are gonna go into it thinking about other people and they're going to immediately tie certain situations to it and not take accountability. And what I appreciated about Mel Robbins, even though some of the things I did not agree with her on, but you know, some of the stuff she talked about, like with her kid, and if your parents are like financially contributing, they have to have an opinion, like stuff like that. Like I was just like, oh no, I don't agree with that. I just think, you know, people are going to have differences in opinions, but I do like that Mel Robbins really did take accountability for the way her kids turned out. And I think a lot of parents don't do that. And I know that sounds crazy, but just like think about how many people you know who their kids are now in therapy and the parents are just like, well, I didn't do anything to you. You know what I mean? She straight up admitted, like, my kids are now in therapy because we didn't talk about things growing up. Like we avoided confrontation. And I just love the honesty and the self-realization that she has in this book, because I think all of us can work on ourselves and all of us will continue to grow. I've applied this theory recently without even knowing that I was doing it, where I had someone who just was not treating me well and they were just being what I thought was a big baby about a situation. But instead of me being like, okay, you're acting like an idiot, I'm never talking to you again, I just kept using kindness with this person. And I kept just like, I even apologized to this person, even though I honestly did not feel like I had anything to apologize for, because this person had been mad at a situation that had nothing to do with me. But I still just said, hey, because they had been treating me poorly, I said, I'm sorry if I did anything to make you upset with me. You know, when I first did that, they were like, no, and just kind of shut it down. But then I just kept treating that person with kindness. And now me and this person are fine. And I've seen a complete behavioral change. And so I did that before reading this book, and the book talks about a lot of stuff like this. It kind of made me reflect and realize like, oh, okay, I have been like applying this theory, and I do want to apply the theory more to my life. I think I gave it a 3 out of 5 on Goodreads. If you're going into a self-help book or going into any sort of self-help or self-care, you have to be honest with yourself about what you've done wrong and how you can change. If it's all about, well, this person did this and this person did this, you're never going to change. That's something I learned in therapy because I was honest. Like when I went to therapy, I was like, yeah, this person did this to me and these people did this to me, but this is also how I am and this is my personality and this is what I did. And so I got a lot out of therapy because I was honest about my personality traits and my flaws. I was able to work through those, and I still have bad personality traits and flaws that I need to work through. Don't go to self-help books expecting to better yourself necessarily just from that. Like I think everyone could benefit from therapy, especially if you're gonna go and be honest in therapy. Okay, my camera died, so I charged it while I finished my clothes. I think the last thing I was talking about was the books that I had read, and I think I finished talking about all of them. And then I'm currently reading one called Buckeye. I can't think of the author, but I will let you guys know at the end of February all the books I read and how I liked them. Now what I'm going to do is list some things on Poshmark. So if you saw my last video, cleaned out my closet and got rid of a ton of stuff, except the stuff is still here because I haven't listed it on Poshmark yet, and some of the stuff I haven't donated yet just because we've had this crazy weather. So what I'm going to do now is get a little setup here going, and I'm going to list some of the stuff on Poshmark. So this is the thing that I use at markets. I really need to put it away. Before I put it away, take some clothes or take some pictures of some clothes on it. So then I just put the clothing item on there like this, and then I just take a picture of it. Take a picture of the item, the tag, and yeah, that's it. And sometimes my items sell very quickly, sometimes they take months to sell, and sometimes they don't sell, so I just take them to Plato's. But some things it's just worth a shot trying to see if I can sell them closer to what I paid for rather than taking it to Plato's and they give me like $2 and they turn around and sell it for like 20, you know? And then as soon as I'm done taking the pictures, I just go put it in a bin where I keep everything nice and clean. If I sell it, then before I ship it out, I clean it again. I just keep it in a bin so that way like the animals can't get to it and like lay on it, you know? And sometimes I will take a picture of me wearing the item, but to be honest, I haven't found that increases sales, not like for me. I guess maybe if I use like my professional camera to do that, it would maybe increase sales a little bit. So maybe if some of this stuff doesn't end up selling and I can go take some pictures outside and make them look all pretty. But for now, I think this works. I think people just kind of like to see the item. One thing I haven't done is I haven't worn this to a Canes game, which would have been perfect. And this is something where like if no one ends up buying it, I'm sure I could sell this on Play-Dohs, but sometimes with stuff like this, when no one ends up buying it, I'm like, wait, should I keep it? Is this a sign? But I don't need to do that. Okay, I thought I had more stuff to list, but that was actually it. And I just listed this jacket as well. Well, I haven't listed, I took pictures of it. So now what I'll do is I'm gonna go and list these things because I still have drafts of things I took pictures of in like October that I still haven't listed, and they're just sitting in there collecting dust in my tubs. So I need to do that. And then I'm going to also see what's been listed for a while and edit my listings, and some of the stuff I'm just gonna take down and probably take to Play-Dohs. The reason why I like selling on Poshmark or Mercari is because there's sometimes where like I'm looking for a specific item and I just happen to find it used or something similar on Poshmark, and it's such a good feeling. And I feel like that's why I'm fine with like waiting patiently for stuff to sell. I just put it in a tub and then I keep it in our guest bedroom. What I'm gonna do now is I think I'm going to possibly go ahead on the treadmill, and I'm going to like list some items while I walk on the treadmill just to get some exercise in today. And I'll try and update you with what I do next. I just wanted to update. So I walked 2 miles on the treadmill and listed a bunch of items, and I already sold 2 of them, which is very nice. And then we suited up and went outside in the snow with the dogs, and it was really fun. I just can't believe we're getting this much snow. I don't think we've got this much or anywhere close to it since like 2018, I want to say, which was my senior year of college, which is crazy to think about. But anyway, now we're just chilling, watching TV. We're probably gonna watch a movie, but I still have some other stuff I want to do. So anyway, that's the latest check-in, and I will see you later. Okay, I decided I want to try and make snow cream. I have not made it since I was probably like, I don't know, 13, I would guess. And I remember I used to wing it, like I would just use whatever we had, but I looked up a recipe, so I'm gonna try it. Milk, heavy cream, sugar, vanilla, and salt. So I'm gonna start with 3/4 a cup, 1/3 to 1/2 cup of sugar. The thing that drives me crazy is people are flying down the road. 2 of those, because 2/4 makes a 1/2, and then 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and then a pinch of salt. So I'm just gonna do a little bit of that sea salt, and then whisk the milk, sugar, vanilla, and salt until the sugar dissolves. We're supposed to go to the Canes game tomorrow, but we ended up selling our ticket, or no, sorry, that's a lie. We ended up trading in our tickets to another game. We did that on Friday or Thursday, I can't remember. Fold in the snow. Starting to, you can tell it's starting to thicken up. So I'm just gonna keep folding the snow in. Okay, I'm going to now beat these Oreos. This is what it looks like. I can't wait to eat it. Hello, it is obviously the next day and I am about to go outside and check out the snow. I've been outside a little bit today just when I was letting the dogs out. I'm gonna get like dressed up and go out there just for like a couple minutes. I just spent the last, I'm not even kidding, hour trying to find my plate hanger that I bought to hang my plates. I'm gonna do a bunch of like my hanging stuff today. Yeah, but first we're gonna go outside. Chance has been shoveling and using the backpack blower to get some snow off of our driveway. I'm gonna go check in and see how he's doing. And it's almost time for lunch. I'm hungry and I hear my dogs barking. So let's go see what's going on. For starters, this is our back deck. And it is full of snow. Oh my goodness, I don't want to fall. Oh my gosh, it's so funny. I have my beach chair here. It is crazy. You're probably gonna hear the backpack blower and stuff. Here. It's your mommy. They love the snow. Can't believe all this snow. And look at this snow. It's crazy. Hey guys, I wanted to come on and end this video. So I know this video was kind of boring and it's just me doing stuff around the house because we have a snow day. But I didn't end up finishing the video, so I can't remember the last thing you saw, but I didn't end up doing any of the hanging or gallery wall or anything like that. So I am gonna do that this week. So stay tuned for that in my next video or maybe the one after. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know any other types of videos you would like to see. Make sure you subscribe and I will see you in the next one.